Good day and welcome to study sessions 8. Old English 449 AD to 100. Introduction. Language as a dynamic phenomenon changes in time and space. In the course of history, the English language had undergone a lot of changes. 4 periods could be identified. These are Old English period 449 AD to 1100, Middle English period 1100 to 1500, Early Modern English period 1500 to 1700, and the Late Modern English period 1700 to date. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Identify the dialects of Old English and where they were spoken. 2. Enumerate and explain the linguistic characteristics of Old English. 3. Explain the morphology of Old English. Dialects of Old English. The Old English period, that is 449 AD to 1100, was a period of full inflections as claimed by most scholars because the significance of word endings was much more pronounced during the period than any other period in the development of English. This period is described as a period of full inflections because, as Bow and Cable 1978 to 50 claim, during most of this period the endings of the noun, the adjectives and the verb are preserved more or less unimpaired. Several linguistic entities exert diverse degrees of influence on Old English. But by far, the language of the Anglo-Saxon invaders exerted more influence on Old English than the Celtic language and Latin that were on ground before the Anglo-Saxon invasion. This was so because, as Barber 1999 to 101 rightly claims, the Anglo-Saxon conquest was not just the arrival of a ruling minority, but the settlement of a whole people. Their language remained the dominant one. 4 major dialects of the Old English could be identified. These are Northumbrian, Mercian, West Saxon, and Kentish. 2 of these were Anglian. Northumbrian, spoken in the northern part of the River Humber, and Mercian, spoken in the Midland between the rivers Humber and Thames. Kentish was a dialect of Jutes in the southeastern part of the Highland, whilst West Saxon was spoken south of the Thames. Of all these dialects, West Saxon enjoyed preeminence, and through it we have the great bulk of Old English writing. Why did West Saxon enjoy such prominence above the other dialects as to more or less be the sole custodian of Old English text? In the 9th century, the center of culture, civilization, and influence shifted first from Northumbrian to Mercian, and then to Wessex, the home of West Saxon. Alfred the Great, who ruled between 871 and 899, was not only a great military leader, he was equally a champion of learning. Characteristics of Old English. Before stating some specific characteristics of Old English, we consider it useful to reproduce the text of the Lord's Prayer in the King James Version of the Holy Bible, Matthew chapter 6. Fida or P at on euform, si pin naman di algod, to become pin rin rice, jiwop pin wila on here Jan Sulan or Eophonomo. Yum Jan wam milikan af sili utu dirg, and for Jew fos ruguvtivtas, suawi fogafan urum julum dum, and nigalidum pu uns yom kros nugum, askaluzum of filin sublik. The above text looks strange at a first glance because of the differences in orthography, spelling system between Old English and Modern English. A careful study, however, shows that it is not an entirely different language after all. It is just that over the centuries, the language has experienced a lot of changes that have largely affected its outlook. Orthography. The spelling system of Old English differs from what obtains in modern English, as the symbols used in the former did not always correspond with those used in the latter. For example, the character A spells the sound A in heart, while the characters B and D represent th. In modern English, as in the word whip, with, or jar, then. Also, Old English represented what is now spelled sh as sk, as in skip, sheep, or skeleton, shoot, and so on. Pronunciation. There is a considerable difference in the vowel quality between Old English and Modern English, as seen in the following data. Old English, stan. Modern English, stone. Old English, alig. Modern English, holy. Gan, go. Ban, bone. Wrap, rope. Alf, loaf. Bat, boat. Fort, foot. Sin, kin. Mitten, meat. Fryan, fire. Read, right. Who, how. Hood, had. Hifod, head. The disparity in spelling between Old English and Modern English is more conspicuous than the disparity in pronunciation. As Bow and Cable 1978-54 opine, a number of words which were in all probability pronounced by King Alfred almost as they are by us represent a strange appearance in the written or printed text. Such words as folk, skip, beck, pond, thorn, bird, bat, path, that are examples in poem. Vocabulary. The vocabulary of English is almost homogeneously Anglo-Saxon, though there are borrowings from Latin, which was the official language before the Anglo-Saxon invasion. Only about 400 to 500 Latin words are found in English language manuscripts. They comprise mainly words of Christian religion institutions, which came in with the introduction of Christianity, as seen in the following data. Old English, biscop. Modern English, bishop. Syriaca, church. Diaphol, devil. Apostole, apostle. Old English morphology. Nouns. Old English was highly inflected to show case and gender. Old English narrowed the numerous cases that are present in Indo-European family to 4. Nominative, usually for subjects. Genitive, for possessives. Dative, for indirect objects. And accusative, for direct objects. Each noun carried a grammatical gender. Grammatical gender is unconnected to the natural sex of nouns. For instance, und, dog. Hunger, hunger. With man, woman. And stan, stone, were masculine. Meal, mile. Whist, fist, were feminine, and with, woman, wife. Mannequin, mankind, and skip, sheep, were neuter. The inflections of nouns are shown in the tables below. Masculine, fox, fox. Feminine, lar. Neuter, deer. Masculine, accusative, fox. Feminine, lar, neuter, deer. Masculine, genitive, foxes. Feminine, lar, neuter, deer. Masculine, dative, fox. Feminine, lar, neuter, deer. Masculine, plural, fox, as. Feminine, lar, neuter, deer. Genitive, masculine, foxa. Feminine, lacra, neuter, deora. Masculine, dative, foxum. Feminine, larum, neuter, deorum. Adjectives. An important feature of the Germanic languages is the development of twofold declension of the adjectives. The inclension refers to the forms, paradigms of nouns, pronouns, or adjectives depending on their grammatical and semantic roles in sentences. One is the strong declension used when the adjective was not accompanied by a definite article or similar words, such as a demonstrative or possessive pronoun. The other, the weak declension, was used when the adjective was preceded by such a word. Thus, we have in Old English God, man, good man, the strong declension, and so goda man, the good man. Weak declension. Old English declension are presented in the tables below. Strong declension, singular, masculine, God. Feminine, God, neuter, God. Masculine, goddess. Feminine, godder, neuter, goddess. Dat, godum, godder, godum. Godney, goddy, God. Goddy, masculine, plural, goddy, godda, God. Godra, godra, godra. Godum, godum, godum. Goddy, godda, God. Weak declension, masculine, singular, godda. Feminine, goddy, neuter, God. Masculine, godan. Feminine, godan, neuter, godan. Godan, godan, godan. Godan, godan, goddy. The plural is for all genders. Plural, godan, godana or godra. Dat, gothum, gothan. The definite article. The definite article is not left out of this full inflection that characterized Old English. The completeness of the definite article is presented below. Singular, masculine, si, feminine, sio, neuter, oxet, theirs, their, theirs. Plural, all genders, da, dara. Dim, der, dim, dim. Done, da, dit, da. While the meaning of say, seal, dead is the. The word is really demonstrative pronoun and survives in the modern day demonstrative pronoun that. Verbs. Old English verbs were inflected for person, number and tense in the indicative mood and for number and tense in the subjunctive mood. In its verbal system, Old English took from Proto-Germanic two types of verbs traditionally called present and past tense. The two ways of indicating past tense are 1. The addition of a suffix, and 2. By modifying their root vowel, which is otherwise known as sound gradation. They were then referred to as weak and strong, regular and irregular, as we now have in modern English. The strong verbs can be grouped in 7 general classes as illustrated below. Ridden, rad, ridden, generate, ride. That is infinitive, past singular, past plural, past participle, and modern version. Infinitive, we have frierson. Past singular, we have friars. Past plural, we have fruron. Past participle, jeffroren. Modern version, freeze. Drinkan, dran, drunkon. Gedruken, drink. Beran, bear, beron, geburen, beer. Ligan, lag, lagoon, gelegan, lie. Standan, stud, stodon, gestanden, stand. Felan, feol, feolon, jefalin, fall. Old English retained the present distinctions in the indicative singular, as in help, I help, who helpest, you. In the plural, it made no person distinctions, we, gi, e, ilpap, we, or you, or they help. In the present subjunctions, there was one form of the singular, help, and one for the plural, helping. There were also imperative forms, that is, one for giving commands, singular, help, and plural, help up. In the past tense, there was a distinctive form for the second person singular, pu, hop, you, singular, helped, as against first and third person, ink, or eo, help, I, or she, helped. In the plural form, there was no distinction of persons but one form, open, was used. In the past tense subjunctive, there was one form for the singular, hope, and one for the plural, hopen. There was also a past participle, open, and present participle, helpend. Old English syntax. Because of its inflectional system, Old English had greater freedom of word order. In Old English, for instance, we can say, Si Nink Hilfeld Minka Jilepon. The king held a great council. And as a stylistic variant of this, we can say, Misel Jepohand Ifodo Sinsaini. The second word order cannot be used in modern English because to say a great council held the king is unacceptable. It is not that Old English lacked rules and preferences about word order. It favored three structures, SVO, VSO, and SOV. Word order was therefore more flexible in Old English than modern English. Negation was achieved in Old English by the use of the particle ne. Multiple negation was common, that is, ne, could occur several times in the same sentences. Such repetitions made the negation more emphatic rather than one negator cancelling the other. Neither in questions nor in negative sentences did Old English make use of auxiliary do. For example, where we say, why do you go? And I do not go. In modern English, Old English had heu gap gi and is niga. The structure of the noun phrase is quite similar to that of modern English, the normal pattern being determiner, adjective, noun. Exceptions to this pattern are provided by the forms all, begin, both, and adjectives ending in word. Such adjectives preceded determinants as in here per, midan jeered, entire, all this earth. Vocabulary of Old English. The English language at this period showed great flexibility, a capacity of blending old words to new uses. By means of prefixes and suffixes, a single root was made to yield a variety of derivatives. Thus, in Old English, adjectives could be formed from nouns by means of such suffixes as in ig, lees, and full, giving words like bloody, bloody, freeholdlies, friendless, and thankful, thankful. There was large number of prefixes, many which could be added to verbs. For instance, the prefix for is added to words like hergian, to hurry or ravage, and bienan, to born, to form the past participle of the verbs. Hence, there were forehand and forbehand, which were about a dozen prefixes that occurred with great frequency, such as a, b, for, g, miss, off, offer, on, to, on, under, and whip. Thus, with the help of this, Old English could make new verbs like sitan, to set, new verbs like ascertain, place, becertain, appoint, forcertain, obstruct, forcertain, place before, of certain, afflict, uncertain, oppress, to certain, dispose, uncertain, put down, with certain, resist. Apart from using affixation, Old English formed new words by joining two or more free morphemes, a process called compounding. Compounding was very prominent in Old English. Let us consider these lines of Beowulf, a work of art written in the English period. Iwa we ger dena in Gerdradom, Peodra singa pirimfi on, Oha de police Ellen Premoson, Frere Medon. In this excerpt, we have compounds such as gar, dina, spear danes, gia dagum, your days, peherd siniga, nation kings. Other compounds include Ororad, whale road, now reduced to sea, Bahun's bone house, now body, Liufet, lamp, vessel, Deogred, night, day, red, a hearing, hearing. Study session summary. Old English was in use between 449 AD and 1100. It was a period of full inflection. Major dialects of Old English were Northumbrian, Mexican, West Saxon, and Kentish. Its characteristic features could be seen at the levels of orthography, pronunciation, vocabulary, and syntax. This is the end of study session 8. Thank you for listening.